Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bahng, an associate professor at Iowa State University and also an author of children's book.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jiang. I'm a graduate research assistant at the School of Education at Iowa State University.
And I like to also recognize two colleagues who work closely with us, and Erin and Simon, okay, who are not here today. So this is our abstract. So our session is going to be about three big different chunks, and one will be our story as an interdisciplinary peace faculty learning community and the nature of community engaged scholarship. And then we're going to shift into the literature review on belonging, why we ended up doing that. And for that, Athena will talk about what is known, what is unknown in the literature, and how we found proactive belonging as a missing piece in that belonging literature. And we are going to introduce conceptual frameworks that we build upon those literature. Okay, so these are the interdisciplinary faculty members on campus from the learning community, and we are from 6 colleges and 11 departments. We are still growing, and so our origin story starts from 2017, and our college have 5 units and an extension and outreach. And that time, the chair of the diversity, equity, and community committee, which is Dr. Yolanda Sanders, wanted to create a mission inclusion program, 1-year program for faculty, where in each unit they will elect one faculty. And so 6 faculty come from 6 different units come together for 1 year, intensively learning about diversity and how they could implement in their own teaching. And I was one of them. It was a 1 year, so we met bi-weekly for 3 years, Wednesday evening for 1 year. And then at the end, we provided some of the poster presentation at the end as a graduating the program. And from there, I met Krishna Campbell. She was at the Food Science and Human Nutrition Department, and both of us somehow clicked the word concept of peace. We didn't know what that meant. I uttered, "What does that mean, peace?" I thought it was just inner peace. But we wanted to continue. The program ended, but we wanted to continue, but we didn't know how. In 2018, at the end of the program, we thought, how about we kind of certify ourselves in a peace institution, and there's a one nearby, which at the University of Notre Dame, Crocks Institute is internationally known peace studies. We weren't able to do it that year, but then pandemic happened, and then we completed in 2021. But what we did in between then and now, our campus has a Center for Excellence in the Arts and Humanities. What they do, they believed in creating little bubbles of a learning community, and they had this funding. So we submitted and we received one, and we created a so-called Sustainable Peace Faculty Learning Community. And Krishna was the convener, and we started as 5 faculty members from different disciplines. We just came together for the word of peace. We didn't know what we were doing, but we met and we discussed what is that our team wants to do. But then there was a lot of discussions happened, but not with the agreement. One agreement, there was a critical moment, very intense discussion, and one faculty mentioned, "Well, I don't want to be part of this team if we're going to be a bunch of faculty members claiming this is peace and that peace." So what we decided to do, how about we invite a peace scholar on campus and kind of guide us in terms of curriculum development and other possibilities. So we invited Roy Tamashiro, and he visited us 5 days, all funded by ISU. And he came as a university lecturer, and then he facilitated for our team for 2 days. And that time we had 7 members, so we're growing. And he also visited some courses as a guest speaker. And from that, finally, we have some sort of a conceptual framework in a way various different disciplinary area can come together with a theme of peace. So then what we did is, how can we kind of actualize what we this conceptual framework. So the easiest one was university honors seminar. So because their curriculum is quite porous, because the curriculum they invite the honors seminar instructors more like it's semester by semester. It's also quite porous. And so we applied for it, and we were invited to teach since 2009, fall 2020. So one credit course. So each year once we taught. We did an iterative practices. So the course title was The Art and Science of Peace. But then after we taught once, we were very chaotic. We had that conceptual framework, but still. But after iterative teaching of a third year, we were finally having this conceptual matrix, which I'm going to introduce later. And then we host a national conference, the Peace and Justice Studies Association. And then we had finally received some Muller faculty fellowship to talk about belonging. Okay, so this is the conceptual framework we talked about. I introduced about that we were envisioning community of practice, and each faculty members, when they teach their session, they are thinking about coming together with a problem posing pedagogy. One credit, they encounter briefly, engage with the concept and practice. The goal is to students to be a peace builder. Okay, so this is a conceptual matrix in terms of how each interdisciplinary different professor from logic, professor from business, professor from architecture, and professor from history, music, how they come together under the concept of peace, and how they consider as core concepts of peace and practice. For instance, the professor who uses logic, for her, truth table was a peace concept and practice, and it was quite enlightening what that looked like in terms of peace. And then this is a really concrete practice of each week, what it looked like. So sometimes one peace facilitator will teach 2 weeks, but some will teach 1 week or 3 weeks. And then initially, again, first and second year, we use other people's materials. And then we realize, how about we create our own instructional materials? So we published a book called Building Positive Peace. Okay. But then from this course, what we realized, the students we're having in the honors course, they're from rural towns in Midwestern states. And when they come to Ames, Iowa, which is the population in 2023, just about approximately 67,000, but they consider this town is so big and they feel lost. But one really common theme every semester from their assignments at the end is this concept of loneliness, especially for the first year students. So from there, we thought, well, how about we change our conceptual framework, not problem posing? How about we layered out pedagogy of belonging in a way that students, facilitators will model belonging, and then it should be more interactive and experiential, and then it should be more student-centered. So, but then this is all from the equity lens. Okay, so for that, what we did, so we have already some sort of the learning happen in concrete part of it: curriculum development, instructional materials, iterative teaching, conceptual matrix, and the feedback gained throughout. But then what we do not have was this abstract world, the literature review on belonging, what is known, unknown, and then the theories of the belonging. But then what we did, how about a proactive belonging that we try to advocate? So what we did for our literature review, we follow Ravitch's and Regan's reason and rigor model for our literature review. For instance, the main two literature reviewer, actually Athena was the main surveyor of this literature, but both of us on the Asian heritage, and we talked about our personal interests and goals and our lived experience as a minority women, our identity and positionality. Also, what do I want to study? Why that belonging matters to us. And so when we survey, this is a literature review. We not only take a look at the topical primary research done on belonging, we also look at the theoretical framework in order to build a conceptual framework here.
So the literature tells us that the definition of belonging is multidimensional. It can be a stable, reciprocal, and positive interpersonal relationship that human beings desire to cultivate and maintain. It also can be a sense of trust in the community as a safe place, because the community itself is plural and diverse. The sense of belonging also comes from the role that the members play in this community that allows them to achieve communal goals. For instance, like working with others, helping others, and contributing to the community. However, we also discovered that the studies on belonging and studies on proactivity, they're more separated rather than intertwined. Especially how proactivity influences with belonging. We discovered that the studies on belonging primarily explore the environmental factors and support, while the studies on proactivity, they're more focused on motivation and outcomes. So we argue that there's insufficient literature explores how pedagogical and institutional support can cultivate a proactive mindset and behaviors leading to a sense of belonging. And also, according to the theory of a sense of a community, the members and the communities, it should be mutually influencing each other, which is why only focus on the environment is just one side and not enough, because the members also need to take actions, also need to invest to prove themselves to be effective and supportive to the community. So in general, we think that more studies are needed to explore the mutual influence between belonging and activity. And what proactive belonging matters, first of all, is a human desire to bond with others that motivates us to reach out, to take action. So those are basically proactive behaviors to make things happen, to get started, to carry out actions, and also future-oriented. And also based on the self-determination theory, the sense of relatedness is also a fundamental human psychological need. And when people feel related, meaning that they feel supported, it's more likely that it will be intrinsically motivated. And then when people get intrinsically motivated, it's more likely they will be active rather than reactive. And lastly, since achieving community goals is also part of a sense of belonging, being proactive allows people to learn and understand better of their role, their job, and also the community, contributing to not only their self-development, but also the others and also the community. So based on the existing literature and a model, as I put it at the right bottom corner, I built this model. I can explain it briefly. It starts from the individual envisions self-change or an situation change. And there are three motivational states, meaning that the person will ask three questions from different perspectives. One is the reason why I want to change. The second is, can I change it? In talking about this efficacy and the feasibility. And lastly is, how do I feel about it? So in terms of why change, it's what value can this change bring about, whether it's intrinsic, extrinsic, and can I change it? How to change it? Do I have the access or support? And what kind of motivation, is that positive or negative in general? And then we switch to the community standpoint. The community can be a school, can be a class, can be peers, can be services, can be curriculum, etc. The community should promote intrinsic motivation, provide access and support enthusiasm and positive emotion. And also I argue that from the individual envisioning a change to achieving the change, it requires self-regulation skills, including making plan, emotional change, monitor the plan, self-instruction, self-evaluation, and self-rewarding. And I argue that the community should also cultivate and develop the individual self-regulation skills. And when the individual feel competent, feel intrinsically motivated, and feel enthusiastic, there's the proactivity. And the community can also monitor and feedback to the proactivity. And through the self-regulated proactive behaviors, there's a new reality. And the new reality can also bring value to the community. And at this point, with everything else, the individual can trust the community, feel safe, feel related, and can contribute to the community. And then the individual can have a sense of belonging to this community.
So from this proactive belonging number one, what we did, we created a second set of belonging model, again, based on combining the concrete and the abstract together, thinking about proactive belonging, how, in a way that we can use for this model for all instructors who wanted to promote belonging. So what we did, we set as a unit individuals with phenomenological experiences, so subjective experiences, feeling, happiness, anger, joy, that enter into a proactive belonging sphere. This is for us is zone for growth, and this is individuals with a meta mindset. So what demarcates between the individual here and individual here is that the individual who could have a capacity to differentiate the experiences enter into a proactive belonging sphere. And then in this sphere, communities of practice and individual, they jive together, they gel together to create a new reality. But this all from the lens of inclusive lens. But then it is recursive in nature. So revolutionary shifts occurs within a person in their practice, daily practice and identity, because there is an incommensurable path. That means personal principles and habits every day. Then you become a next person, that identity, and the next set. So it is a recursive. Okay, so what now? So thinking about the ultimate so what questions, our journey continues in like three significant ways. Number one, continue simplifying the current model while keeping the complexity of the proactive belonging process. Number two, aligning the PB model with the concrete dimensions we introduced with a course and class. And lastly, maximizing the long-lasting student impact from the pedagogical change of PB. Thank you. That's it. Thank you so much. Oh,
Is he muted?
Dr. Wang, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Thank you.